All right, so we're back today, enjoying the aftermath of Hurricane Florence as it passes through our area, which means a bunch of rain, which they kind of predicted a little bit off. But anyway, need some time to get this thing done. So I have our torsion bar where I think angle-wise we need to be, and I have this trailing arm pulled back with a tie down because I couldn't get it to line up very well, so I'm going to loosen that. Get that out of the way. So there's different shaped eccentrics that go in and adjust the alignment. So there's a like hole right here, and then back behind it is, pretty sure I'm not going to be able to let you see this. Oh, yeah. So one goes in there, one goes in there, and then they work with each other to adjust the caster and the toe for the rear suspension alignment. So let me get this shock disconnected and try to get these in place. I put them in the parts washer and cleaned them up. So this one will almost have to go in the front, and it fits in this kind of squarish hole. I may wait on that one. The other one fits. There's a round hole in the back, the trailing arm, and it fits in this slotted one. Little anti-seize on everything. Get it started in its hole in the back. And get it through the spring plate. Get a nub washer on it. Now I can take the other one, and it should get through like so, and then that'll drop in the trailing arm in the back. Make sure to get this anti-seize all over myself. There we go, that's dropped in. And then for the trailing arm itself, these bolts are slotted, these holes are slotted. And they're just a nut and bolt, and that's what locks everything in place once you make the adjustments. So anyway, we'll get this all back together, and we'll kind of figure out a way to get it centered up on both sides, and then we'll move forward and probably set the car back on the ground. All right, we're back. We took the car out, drove it a little bit. Seems to run pretty well. And brought it back in and got it back up on blocks to clear the lift. So when I brought this in here before the engine project started, my goal was to also lower the car, so I took some preliminary measurements of some heights, and I had those there and what they were on the blocks to the fender lip, etc. And that might have meant something in January, and I kind of remember what it was. But so at any rate, I've raised the car about 1.1 inches from what it was. And the front end, I just turned the torsion bolts, and I probably need to level them out a little more. Back end, I measured from the floor with compensating for the block up to the lip of the fender, just using good old measuring tape. So I measured pretty much where the little crease is right there. So this would be, and centering it on the axle. So I'm going to call this like 28 3/16. But what happened, or how it ended up, by wrestling with the torsion bars, I ended up apparently low on the left rear. So I'm about 1/2 inch different. So what I'm going to have to do is take that, and I've kind of sort of aligned the rear as best I can for the toe and the camber. So what we're going to do is lift the car back up and try to index another spline out of that rear torsion bar. So we're going to get after that now. I've forgotten, but I have a picture out here in the garage of this car. This is circa 1995 maybe, and it looked like it was on stilts originally. And there's tons of space between the wheel wells and the top of the tires. And this is right after I painted it, and that is my original GTI right there. So anyway, we're going to get back to work on the car. I forgot to show this before I start taking stuff apart again. Another way to look at is rest that on top of the tire. This isn't real scientific, but so we're almost flat, or we're actually a little bit down on this side. If we go to the other side, spin this around. We're up, and so there's definitely a difference. So that just gives a little baseline. So let me get the rack lift set up, and we will hopefully pull. This is the side I had the problem with. Pull this side apart and turn that like 1 spline or 1 degree up, and hopefully that'll straighten everything out. Okay, I pulled all this apart. See that? Yes. So it looks like we're about 26.9 degrees. So hanging at the bottom, we'll call it 26.9. So I need to raise this side slightly. So let's see what we can do better than 26.9. So I'm going to have to actually disengage both parts here. So let's go. That's where we started. Let's go up 1 on the inside. Of course, this brake line's in the way again. Let's make sure I didn't move it. Yep, we're good. All right, so let me go. Not sure which way I want to go. Let's try going up on the inside. 1 spline. there's one on the inside. Now I need to wiggle the outside off. Which proved to be a pain in the butt last time. Well, let's see where we are. So that's a lot. The outside does not want to come off. Okay, so it does not appear to want to come out of the outside, which we had problems with that when we put it together. So what we're going to do, we are going to drill a hole. Now, apparently don't have a punch long enough, so we're going to use whatever this thing is. Alright, now I guess we start all over. So now that we're loose on the outside, let's see where we need to be. And now I don't remember the damn number anyway. Okay, after much grief and aggravation and taking this thing in and out a bunch, we came up with 27.7 degrees, which we were about 26.9. So near as I can tell, that's one notch lower, as close as I'm going to get. So we'll put all this back together and get the car back down and roll it back and forth a few times, let the suspension settle out, and then we'll see what our height ends up. Okay, so I got it back down on the ground and everything actually looks like I raised it. I'm within like 1/8 of an inch from side to side. Something that will affect that is the camber. So I'm going to use my little redneck alignment tool right here. Let me see if I can do this without knocking the camera over. So 89.4 degrees translates into like, so 90 would be straight up. So let's see if we'll go back. So the camber specs in the book are 1.5 or 1 to 1.5 degrees. So crank this a little bit. Only seems to like to go one way. So now it looks like we're about negative 1.6. Touchy. 88.7, that's exactly what I had on the other side, which is about 1.3 degrees negative. So I'll get the wrench, I'll lock that down, and then we'll try to figure out how to adjust the toe. There's the tool it takes. So we'll try to adjust the toe in, and then someday I'll go to an alignment shop if I can find one I trust. This is my toe setup. 6 foot level. The magnet's not strong enough to hold it to the side of the car, so I got a clamp. And I use my calipers set up right with the edge of the wheel. So that one's even. Back here, I'm closer, so we're way towed in. So I need to get into there and get on that tracking eccentric, they call it, which is the one more towards the front of the car. It takes the same 12mm bit. Okay. I don't remember which way is which. Just touching. So I'm going to call that good. Just so it makes more sense, those are the Allens I'm turning. The camber one's closer to the wheel, and then the tracking, or the one for the toe, is that one. And these are the alignment specs. It's kind of goofy to read. But for the rear, toe in, it's pretty much 0. And the camber is anywhere between 1 to 1.5. Now on the negative side, so we set them to about 1.3. Next, I guess we will go towards the front. I don't know that I have much choice as far as camber there, but we'll dig into that next.